Peace. It is 6:58, so we have to wait 2 minutes before we begin class. So if you're watching the recording, fast forward up 2 minutes, and you will be happy you did that, because I'm going to just sit and chat about nothing for 2 minutes. So let's see. Let's talk about the website. Things have not changed much the last couple of weeks because I've been feeling pretty crummy, and but if you go to the front page of the website, harmonicaband.com, each week I'm going to update the little square that says weekly meeting schedule. So that's where you'll find out what we're playing each week. So go there. Second thing on the website is welcome. That's just me talking about stuff. Learn to play. If you have not learned to play harmonica yet, there's a 15-minute video on there. It's an old video, but it's still a perfectly legit video. Go listen to that video, and I'll teach you how to play harmonica. 15 minutes, you can play harmonica. On the sheet music tab, everything that we're playing tonight is the new stuff. So I don't think I said that very well. What we're playing tonight has the new stuff in it. How about that? The two newest pieces are By the Light of the Silvery Moon and I'll Fly Away. Working on Scotland the Brave. Vic did a wonderful job. Oh, hey, Vic. Welcome in. Vic did a wonderful job of arranging Scotland the Brave for us. I, of course, have to noodle with stuff, right? So I've been fancying it up, basically putting it into my software, but her arrangement was fantastic, so we're just going to use it that is with me maybe making a tweak or two here, but it's really cool. So hopefully this week I will be able to post Scotland the Brave, and that's the only changes really recently that have happened on the website. If you miss one of these classes, you go to the video class harmonica class videos tab, and that will take you to where we want, where you can catch up on the replays. There's a bazillion videos on there from the old days, and they're perfectly fine too. So you should go check some of them out. Harmonica theory is the scales and that sort of stuff. I was going to get started doing that this week, and I just don't feel good enough to do that. And then underneath that is just a list of songs that I've updated recently. So All Through the Night, On Top of Spaghetti, Twinkle Twinkle, Amazing Grace, This Old Man, all of those things are under there, and those are just sort of advertising posts to get you to come here and play with us. So hopefully all that makes sense. Over on the left-hand side of the website, welcome, learn to play, sheet music theory, video archives, exactly all the stuff we just talked about. There is one tab called What to Buy if you are new and you're not sure which to buy. I'm kind of narrowed it down to the least amount of money that you can spend to get quality instruments. One is the Chromatic East Top Forerunner. I love this harmonica. I've had it for years now, and it's given me no trouble whatsoever. I don't take very good care of it. I just play it, and it's been perfectly fine, and they're super cheap, 50 bucks, I think. And then the other one I recommend is the Special 20, the Diatonic Harmonica in the key of C. That's the one we use on a daily basis around here. And then I also recommend that when you have time, no urgency to it, but get a low F harmonica. This one was made by Seidel, and it's been great. And all it does is on those songs when you have 6, 7s, and 8s and 9s in them on the diatonic lines, this just makes that much more pleasant to play. So those are the things you should buy. Chromatic first. Well, I shouldn't say that. Diatonic and Chromatic you have to get right away, and then when you have time, get the low F. Remember to brush your teeth and drink a lot of water when you play. I have not been feeling good for 2 straight weeks, and I have been taking so much cold medicine and stuff that yesterday I think the cold medicine got the best of me. Completely missed a class. I don't even know what happened. And just an hour and a half out of my life was missing, and so there you go. So Vic is one of those people who takes that class, and she's probably like, that guy, I'm so sick of him. And then the last thing you should know, 7:03, we got to get started. My face looks really weird tonight. Under the best of circumstances, my face is pretty weird, but it's even more weird tonight. My dermatologist, I have a new one down here, and she's like, you need to do a facial peel. She's She's not from around these parts, let's put it that way. And she's very like, and so I'm doing a facial peel, and so my face is kind of red and then shiny on top of that. So doesn't hurt yet. I've done a couple of these in the past, and they're always exciting. So, hey, Kat, your classes are worth waiting for. Vic, you are the sweetest person in the entire world. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes my classes are pretty good, and they're worth waiting for. A lot of times they're not. So let's make this one worth waiting for. Let's make this one worth listening to. All right. So on the schedule tonight, let's start at the top. Starting next week, I'm hoping to add back in the scales. Okay, and you'll see that on when I get the postings up. Like I said, just haven't had enough energy to get everything done that I wanted to get done. That's always true of me. So I don't know why I'm even bringing it up. Grab Simple Gifts and your diatonic harmonica, and let's go take a look at it. Some people have been asking me what kind of software I use in my iPad. It's called Fourscore, and I really do. If you are owning an iPad or thinking about getting one, just to factor that in. I think their price is $25-30 for this program, but it's amazing. It's perfect for musicians, and it's Fourscore, and use that as your iPad software. I don't know if they make it for the IBM PC type tablets or not, but if they don't, then just go get a Macintosh one. They're really expensive, these iPads, but they're really worth it. All right, Simple Gifts. Vic says Fourscore is amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing what you can do with it, and it's exactly the things you'd want to be able to do as a musician. You can do with it, and so organizes all your sheet music. You can put up set lists. You can get it where it does half a page turn at a time, so you never actually have. You always have another half a page to play. It's kind of slick. I don't use that feature very often, but it is really nice when I'm performing to have the half page turns so that you can kind of see where you're. You know how when you get to the bottom page, you're like, I wonder what's on the next page, and then you have to kind of wait. That when you do the half page turns, you always know what's on the next page, so it's kind of cool. And then there's a million other things you can do, and you can write all over your scores and stuff. Use a highlighter and a pen. $100. I lost my iPen at school last year, 2 years ago, and it had my name on it, Gary Ugart, and I was like, I'll get it back, and eventually it'll show up. Never show back up. Somebody's using the Gary Ugart iPad pencil. I had to go buy another one. They're $100. It drives you bananas. It's just plastic. I don't even think there's anything in it. All right, Simple Gifts. We're not going to play with the MP3s because I played with them earlier and they're really fast and it makes the whole thing unpleasant. So we're just going to play these tonight, and hopefully I'll be feeling better next week and we'll get some of the MP3s. The timing needs to be slowed down on lots of them. So let's just play. I will be your lead player and you follow along with me. We're going to start with the below 6. I'm going to count in 3 and we're going to go. Not fast. 1, 2, 3. Whew. It's going to be tough getting through everything tonight. Goodness sakes. Isn't that beautiful? It's really a nice song. I think that's a keeper. Like, that's one you can play a lot and just get where you have it. Basically, man, it's like You Are My Sunshine. It's just a good song. And so I hope that you've taken time to take a look at that one, because honestly, I mean, I have it arranged for every instrument that I teach because it's just a good song, and there's only 2 chords in it, and but the melody just flows really nicely and beautifully, really fits on the diatonic harmonic perfectly, and just a whole lot of fun to play. So hopefully you enjoy it, and also pay attention on that one for those long notes. Those are the ones that eat you up when you're not super familiar with it. I'm always coming in early when I'm not busy counting the long notes in my head. All right, let's go take a look at Blow the Man Down. Blow the Man Down. My only note on this page says do all 4. So that means we're going to do it 4 times through. And as you can see with the repeat, it measures 16. It says 1, 2, 3. So you go into that 3 times. And then on the 4th time, you skip measure 16 and play the 17. And that'll play us out. And the reason that we do this song, here's more information than you want to have. There's a show on TV called Big Bang Theory, and there's one episode where they need to make these penny blossoms, which are these little flowers that they're gluing together, and they need everybody's help, and so they're all singing this Blow the Man Down song to get people to work faster. Da 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 dum 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 da dum dum, right? So they're making everybody. I think it was just 2 of them that are being bossy or singing in to get the other 2 that are kind of goofing off to do their work. So that's why we're playing this song. And then I, of course, changed the words for harmonica words, and because it's Blow the Man Down. Get it? So I'm just so smart, and it's almost scary. Let's go. It's supposed to be 140. Let's play it way slower than that. And I am running out of air tonight, guys. Whatever I got hit me right in the lungs. And so if at some point you're like, why isn't he playing anymore? It's because I'm having a heart attack and dying in here. Okay. So it'll be fine. All right. Let's count in 2 and then go da dum ba dum ba dum bum ba da da dum, and then long notes. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. That's what you're after. Blow 5, 2-beat count in. 1, 2. Isn't that fun? I think we did it 4 times. That was this last time through. I'm like, I think this was the last time. Well, sit down, young lady, I'll make you a song. So, well, sit down, young lady, I'll make you a song. Way, hey, blow the man down. You'll cry and you'll laugh at my harmonica. Give me some time to blow the man down. Look at there, harmonica song. I guess you could change it to young fella if young lady doesn't strike your ear right. I think lady's still okay as a word. All right, so there's you blow the man down. All I'm going to do on that one is slow down the MP3 on the website. I think this is a really good sheet to play from. So 2021 is sticking together. All right, beautiful. Now, we got to get rid of the diatonic. For those of you who are newer, or if you're just checking into these videos recently, this is not a beginner instrument. The most advanced players use this one all of the time, right? But we teach you on this one in the key of C, and then you end up owning a suitcase full of them when you decide to go pro. And they're all in different keys, and it's hard to get a wrong note out of something like this. This is why a lot of times when I'm online and they're like, "Oh, blues harmonica is the really hard one." Blues harmonica takes a lot of technique, but it's impossible to hit a wrong note on one of these instruments. And so, unless you're blowing in the wrong hole or something, but everything, even then, it sounds pretty good. Especially with blues where we're bending the notes and just kind of hanging around with the chord and that sort of stuff. So these are great instruments to get started on and to stay on for your whole life. However, the biggest problem with these is they're missing notes. There's a lot of notes that are not available on this, and that's why you have to buy a chromatic. Okay, dun, 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 dun. And these come, the cheap ones, $550. That's what I use all of the time. East Top, you guys should call me up and say, "Hey, we'd like to sponsor you." They won't, but they should, because I love these things. Now, there are lots of other great harmonicas. I own a bunch of chromatics and much higher dollar value ones, and they're all wonderful, right? So you just decide, hey, I want to upgrade my chromatic, and you just spend more and you'll get an even nicer one. So there's that. All right, now it is St. Patrick's Day, and you'll notice I have no green on, and that's because I'm not playing along with life this week because I still feel like crud. So just know, normally I'm very serious about I'm normally very serious about wearing green today, and I just didn't, just because I was in a bad mood. So we're going to play Danny Boy. This is the archetypical, definitely the best known Irish thing, I think, period. Now, there's a couple of notes here, and you might want to have them on there. My first page has no notes. Perfectly fine the way it's written. Here's where things are going to turn into a mess. When you get to measure 13, right in the middle of 13, you want to dump all of the air out of your face, because you have -5, -5, -5, -8, -7, -7, all in a row. They're all going to take up, and then you've got 7, 6, 7 where you blow it. Then you have a place to catch up, and then a couple more minuses after that. But that section from the middle of 13 to the middle of 14, it's only a few notes, but man, oh man, those are the most important notes in the song. So you want to get them right. So just make sure when you get to that little rest there in the middle of 13, go get the air out of your lungs, because you're going to be sucking in a whole bunch. And that's where, "Oh, I'll be here," it's that real high note that most singers cannot hit, and you can hit it. So, all right. The other hard part is there are a bunch of button pushes on this one, and why is that? I always like to think, like, why? What means you have to push the buttons more or less? If it's in the key of C, you rarely have to push the button. You might have to do a little bit. As you're looking at the key signature up here at the very top on the standard notation line, you'll see a treble clef, and then you'll see a sharp sign. And what that's telling you is it's either in the key of E minor or the key of G. In this case, we're in the key of G. And whenever you're not in the key of C, you're going to be pushing this button more, because all of those accidentals, which aren't really accidentals in this key signature, are going to require that. And so that's why I always recommend, hey, when you guys start doing arrangements, start with one in the key of C, do it on chromatic first, and then if there are no sharps or flats anywhere in it, you might be able to pull it off on diatonic. But you should look for songs in the key of C, and if you know how to run the software, you can take any song and put it into the key of C and see how it sounds. But a lot of songs out there, especially guitar-based songs, are in A, either D, well, they're usually in G, D, A, or E, and those have more and more sharps, and that means more and more button pushing if you want to stay in the original key. There's no reason that I know of to stay in the original key unless you're going to play along to the song on an album somewhere, and I don't know why you do that anyway. So I tend to put them in the key of C if I can, and if I can't, then like this one, I didn't want it to go way up high on here, so that's why the entire time I was thinking about that one note in measure 14. It's a draw 8, right? And that leaves us lots of room for error up here. And then you're going to be drawing all the way down to -1 on this song. So you're using a huge amount of notes on this song on this harmonica in this song, and that's why we want to be mindful. You know, we could do that. We could put this in a different key, but then we're going to be pushing a button a lot, and that's never something you're wanting to do probably until you're playing some very advanced jazzy type stuff, and then you're going to be pushing the button no matter what. So, but on folk music, don't make it hard on yourself. Look for songs in the key of C to tab out, and if they're not in the key of C, see if your software will put them into the key of C. And so anyway, we're in the key of G, sort of in the key of E minor. It's got a sad feeling to it. It's not really an E minor, but it's hanging around in these weird modal kind of feelings here, and so you're going to be pressing a lot of this button, mostly on -2, right? And so a couple of -6s in here, and so on. So just be aware, keep your finger ready to go. I like to tell people it doesn't really matter. You can either use your index finger. That's the way the thing is sort of designed. I find that a little uncomfortable a lot of times, so a lot of times I will put my thumb on that. That gives me the ability to put a sound chamber here and use my thumb. But you do you, right? You find whichever way makes the most sense to you. All right, Danny Boy. On the soundtrack, on the MP3, which is again set up to play way too fast, I'll slow it down. It's set up for 4 beats in measure 0, and then a 1 beat count in, and then you play. So that's the only reason why there's a count in here at all, is because the pickup, there's 3 pickup notes, which means you only have a 1 beat count in, and so when you're playing in an ensemble, that's kind of hard to go 1 do Danny boy, and it's hard to know exactly how fast that is. If you're in a professional orchestra, you can do it because the conductor knows how to drop it at the right pace. But when you're us chickens out in the forest, it's nice to have 1 2 3 4 go do Danny, and right, you get better timing. Okay, I will set a pace that I think is comfortable. Hopefully you can keep up. Hopefully you can go play way faster than me and be like, God, Gary, you're playing this so slow. And we go through it twice. Okay, so from the top, I'll count in 5. And you're going to do -2 star. That's your first note. I'm going to put my thumb there. I get it right the first time. 1 2 3 4 go. or maybe put a 12 on the end of that, right? Because she's going off into she's drifting off. I'm out of air really hard. Sorry. All right, beautiful song, right? That's like world class. So, and I think it's perfect. I don't think there's anything that should be changed on that. And hopefully you made it sound just like it's supposed to. Melissa just walked in. She says, "I'm wearing my green." Got a Guinness stout in my hand and ready to pick a fight. Right? That's what the Irish do. Okay, good job. Nice. All right, so now let's go take a look at By the Light of the Silvery Moon. Now, guys, this is a hard song. I was playing it earlier today, and I'm like, golly, this is hard. And so if you're struggling with it, please know you're supposed to be struggling with it. It is really, really challenging to play this thing. And so that part of the bum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum is really hard to get that right. And so I would say could take it much slower than even the slow MP3 on here. In fact, I'm going to get rid of the fast MP3. It's just ridiculous. It's way too fast. The orchestra that's playing this, the ukulele orchestra, they're going to be fine. You can play that instrument much faster than you can get these notes out of a harmonica. And so we're going to slow down. We're not playing with them anyway. But the idea will be we're going to find a pace that is doable. And some of you may be already able to do it at this pace that it's on the website, but I certainly can't, and I'm the one who has to be able to do it because we're going to be playing this a while. So I think I am going to slow it down, and just know when you get into this that man, oh man, this is a pretty tough song. And the other thing we talked about last week or the last time we met was these rests in the middle of 5 and 6. Place, rest, park, rest, scene, rest, dark, rest. If you're on a fretted instrument, you don't need to spend a whole lot of time worrying about those rests. They're there for show mostly. But on this instrument, we can do them, and so we really want to try to honor them. Bump, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum, right? And so those rests are meaningful here. And so I think, give yourself a shot at sounding really, really good by not playing through the rest, right? Da 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 da. It'll be fine, but that's not what it says, and it's just not quite as cool. All right, we're gonna play slow. Okay, so for those of you guys that have got this up to speed already, again, patience with Gary. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1 measured. 1, 2, 3, 4 measured. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3 measure. 4, 2. Here we go. One, two, three. Bum ba bum bum bum. Well, I'm getting better at this. As I'm a long way from having it perfect. But yeah, right. Pretty tough song. I hope all of you are stretched just a little bit, and like, oh, that was a little bit harder, and I wish it was. It's perfect. I mean, really, there's other than the weird ties that go off the end of the lines, I don't think I'm going to change anything about this sheet music. I may reformat it just slightly, but yeah, it's a good song. And then the fun part is trying to play along with the MP3. You got this full orchestration playing along behind you, kind of covers up your mistakes a little bit. But I think it's just still a little too fast to make this a fun and enjoyable piece of music. So know that it's very hard. I've been working on it. I'm not there, and it doesn't carry you up wind-wise, right? I mean, the draws and blows are pretty well distributed, but boy, oh boy, the speed of those 16th notes is pretty challenging. All right, on an entirely different type of challenge, let's go take a look at I'll Fly Away. Now, the key with I'll Fly Away, you can look at the sheet music right away and you're like, oh, long notes. And so you really want to honor that. You really want to be like, not coming in early, right? So this is one of those places where you count in your head a lot as you're playing. Some bright morning when this life is over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2. Right. So when I'm playing, I literally am counting in my head. That's what's going on, and I think there's no other way to do it without coming in early. When you have those long notes, you're just going to come in early. It's just part of what we do, and so don't do that. The other thing is the MP3 is probably at the right speed, is probably playable at the speed it is. I can't do it quite yet, but I will be able to do it. And so make sure that if you're not going to count it, you're playing along to the MP3, and that way you can listen with your ears and you'll know when to come in. I have one gnat in this room, and I don't know, whatever's going on, he has just decided he is going to be a part of this. What are we doing here? He wants to learn how to play harmonica too. This gnat. He's going to learn how to go to heaven if he doesn't stop bugging me. Now, let's just do it. You're supposed to play this 3 times, right? So if you look at the repeat, measure 31, it says 1 and 2 next to it. So we go through that twice, and then the third time through, we skip to 33 from 30 and play out. And it's just one note at the end there. You'll notice when you look at a repeat, you're like, well, that's the same note. Why is there 2 repeats? Why would he do that? Well, the difference is if you look at the chords, in the first repeat, there's a G and then a D7, and you use D7s to get you back up to the beginning, up to the G, right? So it's bum ba dum bum ba da dum ba dum bum bum, and so that's what the D7 is doing there. Whereas at the end of the song, you don't have that D7; you're just finishing up. Also, if you are a ukulele player or a baritone ukulele player, these chords are really nice, right? So record yourself playing the song, and then go through and record yourself playing your baritone ukulele or your whatever other instrument, your piano, whatever, play the chords underneath it and then put them together. If you want some information on how I combine tracks, there's a lovely piece of free software out there called Audacity. It does take a tiny bit of learning on it, but not a lot, and you can record yourself doing one line and then go through and record yourself doing the other line and then put them together, and then it makes you make your own duets that way. Or just meet a friend, right? Have them play the chords and you play the harmonica. Remember, you can play this with diatonic. Probably quite a bit harder on diatonic just because you're running in the 7s and 8s. I got this one here, and we do go all the way down to -1, so be aware of that. Okay, not too fast, not too slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dum dum dum. Ta-da! We did it. I didn't die. All right. I'm going to get up Scotland the Brave. Vic sent me a tremendous arrangement for that. I'm noodling with it just a little bit because that's, I feel like, I don't know, I just have to noodle with other people's stuff. And then, so that'll be posted hopefully this week. We're going to stick, we'll change out Simple Gifts and Blow the Man Down and Danny Boy. We'll just trade those out for whatever's next on the list. And then we're going to hang on to By the Light of the Silvery Moon, and probably I'll Fly Away. I want to play with the backing track one time. So if you have any questions about what you should be working on, By the Light of the Silvery Moon and I'll Fly Away are for sure going to happen again this week. And then I'll get that website turned over as quickly as possible so that you guys will know what's next. And here's the thing with harmonica, right? A little bit every day, right? And it'll just all of a sudden one day it'll just start paying you back. It's not an instrument that takes years and years and years to develop into something worth listening to. And so just try to find 10-15 minutes before bed or right after you wake up or at lunchtime, or go sit in the car. That's where I played harmonica forever prior to the pandemic. I just go sit in the car, and at every stoplight I try to play something, and that way nobody's got to listen to you, and you'll get better and the whole thing. But put a harmonica in your car, and don't play it when you're driving, but at the stoplights, it's okay. There's no law against playing harmonica at stoplights, and so you'll get better. And thank you all for putting up with me tonight. I will hopefully be 100% next week, and then also my face will have peeled off so that you'll just get the final Frankenstein version. And it's really good to see so many of you here, and tell your friends we're going to keep doing this. So good to see y'all. Vic, Kat, Melissa, who else? Those are at least the people that said hey. So talk to you soon. Peace.